cities, but considering that we're only 2 hours away from Chicago, do you ever think you'd go up there to do a huge book discussion about Battle for the Stars and publicize it more than it already
If someone went with me. I can't drive. I do have my license, but I can't afford to pay insurance on a car, so Mom has to drive me everywhere. Next year when I go to ISU, I'm not bothering with a car, I'm taking my bike.
Do you write poems?
For class? You'll have to ask him about his opinion of my poetry. He's the one who grades me. I did write poems in creative writing in high school. There was poems about our favorite room in our house. We did haikus, cinequins, imagery poems, that sort of thing. I had to submit those poems for a scholarship. Again, I thank the heavens that I saved my writing. Out of the poems we've had to do for Mr. Brown's class, I have to say the letter poems were interesting. I wanted to write those to be both entertaining but private in a way. And I think he liked my small poem today. You can be assured that one poem I'll write about today will be about this discussion, sir. I know that it says don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes I do judge a book by its cover. Upstairs, if it has an interesting title and cover and a good review, I'll pick it up to look at. If it has a dull, boring cover, I don't even want to look at it.
Like what you were just saying, have you ever picked up a book because you were bored, and even though it had a dull cover and a dull title, have you ever gotten into it and liked it a lot, but then when you told your friends or something, they're like, oh no, I don't like that, it's boring. Has that ever happened at all?
I don't have friends to talk to here. I have read a few books that surprised me. And I've read books that were not so good. There's this book upstairs, some book about an attack, Valacord, or it's some kind of army book upstairs, young adults, second row. I can't say the title.
Is it Among the Hidden?
No, it's just about the U.S. in Iraq or Iran in 2003. I picked it up because I'd never understood the military situation in there, and I thought if I read it, I might understand it. It made me just hate the entire thing more. I know there are book series that people like. Twilight, I don't.
Oh, really? I read the whole trilogy.
And I hate Lord of the Rings.
So do I.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either.
I didn't like it either.
I didn't like that one either.
I'll stick up for it.
I like it.
Rock on. I'm lonely, but I'll stick up for it.
I do love
Lord
classics.
of the Rings are amazing.
Heidi, Call of the Wild, anything in classic. I love classics. I've read different ones.
With my 3 to 5-year-olds, I have mostly right now, it's the end of the year, so most of my kids are almost 5 or 5, thank God. But anyway, I love books, so I read a lot to the kids. But I've been teaching them like the parts of the book, the title, the author, the illustrator, the cover page, the dedication, as well as, reading from left to right and all that kind of stuff, the structural stuff of a book. And so now they're coming up to me, and they've got these papers, and they're all stapled together, and they've got all this writing, and then pictures on it. And they'll say, look, this is the cover of my book. There's the title. There's the author. There, see, my name is down there. And I'm the illustrator, too.
Interesting.
It's fabulous. I just am like tickled.
Although, did you know in Japan they read the opposite direction?
No, I did not. That's interesting.
That surprised me when I opened a Magda the first time. I was at the back of the book. I had to go to the opposite end to read it. We know what that's like.
Oh,
Yeah. Everybody looks at us weird when we're reading one.
We're reading it backwards.
Yeah, they're
What
like,
are you doing?
you know you're reading it backwards. It's like, no,
No.
manga are read this way.
All right. One or two more questions.
Oh.
Lady in red, you still haven't asked anything.
Okay, like I think I've read an Erin Hunter book. Like, what series did you read by her?
I read every single one of the Warrior Cats. And I've read her little magical comics that went with it, and I'm currently reading her bear stories. And yeah, I have a hold on her next bear book that's coming out. Did you know Erin Hunter is actually comprised of 3 authors as one? I read it on her homepage.
In high school, my older brother and sister, they read The Lord of the Flies. That's like, it's like a really old book, I guess. And my sister had me read it, and like how it was written and everything, I got all confused. And the writing style, it just plain out confused me. Have you ever read it?
No, but I have encountered books where I was confused. There were times in high school I didn't understand the Shakespeare we were reading. The only reason I passed the section about Othello in college was that I was doing it online and I had to read the entire play out loud to myself. And then I understood it.
My favorite series is Alice in the Wonderland. It's old because it was made in the 18th century, and the author wrote it when he had really bad migraines. But it's actually a really good series. Have you ever read it?
I seen the movie.
But the movie's nothing like it.
I know.
I hated Alice in Wonderland. No, they never read it.
Oh, you mean you read it, or you just talking about the movie?
No, I mean the series of books.
Well,
I hated it,
and
so
you
it was
know,
never in our
the
house.
books are a lot different if you read the originals, because even like, you know, if you saw like Bram Stoker's Dracula and that, you know, and then you actually read the book and saw the movie, or you read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the original, is nothing like the movies with Lon Chaney in them. Nothing.
Well, I do prefer the books to the movies. I will sometimes check out movies that are based on books and see what they've missed. Like the entire Aragon movie. Oh, I was so annoyed with that. Although the guy who did write it was the initial push to finally get my own book written. In his little author bio, it says he got published when he was 15, and that aggravated me. I'd be happy to sell copies now and autograph them and meet and greet people